Cold rain hit the metal roof of the old alien orphanage, making a sharp sound that echoed through every empty hallway. The place stood far from the bright parts of the city, hidden near the dark hills where no one cared to look. Inside this lonely building lived a small alien girl named Lyra, a child with soft gray skin, bright silver eyes, and strange glowing marks running along her arms. These marks glowed faintly in the dark, like tiny stars trapped under her skin. Most of the other children avoided her. Some whispered that she was cursed. Some said she had bad luck around her. The caretakers never argued with these rumors. In fact, they seemed to believe them even more than the children did. Tonight, the orphanage felt colder than usual. The power flickered. The lights buzzed weakly in the long hallways. In a small storage room that the caretakers called Lyra's sleeping area, the girl sat alone on the floor with a thin blanket wrapped around her shoulders. Her cheeks were wet with silent tears. She hugged her knees tightly to her chest, trying not to make a sound. Whenever she cried, the glowing marks on her arms became brighter. She knew that if someone saw the glow, they would only fear her more. So she buried her face in her arms and whispered to herself over and over, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I don't want to be like this." But Lyra did not know what she was apologizing for. She was apologizing simply because she believed she had to. Everyone told her she was wrong, strange, or dangerous, so she had learned to believe it. A sharp noise echoed down the hallway. Lyra lifted her head. Heavy footsteps approached her door. The door handle turned, and the head caretaker, Madame Vora, stepped inside. Her face looked tight and angry, like someone who was always annoyed by something she could not fix. Behind her stood two large alien guards with long metal staffs. "Stand up," Madame Vora ordered. Lyra froze for a moment, unsure if she heard correctly. She slowly stood, trembling. Her glowing marks flickered with nervous light. Madame Vora took one step forward, her voice cold. "We cannot keep you here anymore." Lyra's breath caught. Did I do something wrong?" "You exist, madam." Vora answered sharply. "That is the problem." Lyra's eyes widened. Her small hands shook. Madame Vora turned to the guards. "Take her. The council warned us about children like her. They attract danger. They bring disaster. We should never have taken her in." One guard whispered to the other, "She is a cursed child. Look at those marks." The guards moved closer, and Lyra backed up until she hit the wall behind her. Her voice shook as she said, "Please, I promise I will be quiet. I won't bother anyone. Please let me stay. Please." Madame Vora did not even blink. "We gave you a chance. You brought strange events into this building. The lights fail when you cry. Machines break when you touch them. And this morning, the water system exploded without reason. We know this is because of you." Lyra's lips trembled. "I didn't mean to. I don't know how it happens." "That is exactly why you must leave," Madame Vora said. "You are a danger. This orphanage cannot risk keeping you." The storm outside roared louder, as if agreeing with her words. Rain smashed against the windows. The wind cried like a warning. The guards grabbed Lyra by the arms. She let out a small cry, not of pain, but of fear. Her glowing marks flared bright blue for a moment, and the hallway lights flickered violently. The guards stepped back, alarmed. "Careful," one said. "She might explode." Lyra's heart raced. She shook her head wildly. "No, please. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't know how to stop it." Madame Vora frowned as if Lyra's fear annoyed her. "Take her out, now." The guards dragged Lyra through the hall. Her bare feet slid across the cold floor. The other children peeked from their rooms with wide, scared eyes. None stepped out to help her. None said a word. The front doors were thrown open. Cold wind blasted into the building. The rain fell in heavy sheets, making it hard to see anything outside. Without hesitation, the guards pushed Lyra out into the storm. She slipped and fell into the mud, rain soaking her thin clothes instantly. Her glowing marks dimmed as she cried. Exhausted and terrified, the doors slammed shut behind her. For a moment, Lyra lay still, thinking this might be the end of her story. But in the darkness, lightning flashed and someone far away noticed the small glowing child abandoned in the storm. A figure stepped closer, watching her with concern. Someone human. And everything was about to change. The storm grew stronger and colder as Lyra tried to push herself up from the muddy ground. Her small hands sank into the wet earth. Every breath felt heavy. The rain hit her back like sharp needles. She shivered, weak and afraid, unsure of where to go. The world outside the orphanage felt too big, too dark, too cruel. But she did not know she was no longer alone. Through the thick curtain of rain, a tall figure in a dark coat moved slowly down the road. His boots splashed through puddles. He held a dim lantern in one hand, shielding it from the wind. His name was Captain Rowan Hawley, a human traveler who wandered from world to world, doing small jobs and helping people where he could. Humans were uncommon in this part of the galaxy, and most aliens did not expect to see one walking alone in a storm at night. Rowan paused when he saw a flicker of blue light, Lyra's glowing marks flashing weakly as she tried to crawl away from the door. "What?" "In the stars," he whispered. He hurried forward. As he got closer, he saw the small girl curled into a tight ball, rain pouring over her fragile body. Mud covered her legs and arms. Her glowing marks were fading like dying stars. Rowan knelt beside her. Hey there, are you hurt?" Lyra lifted her head slowly. Her silver eyes were wide with fear. When she saw a human, someone she had only heard stories about, she tried to back away. "Please, don't hurt me," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Hurt you?" Rowan blinked in surprise. No, I want to help you. What happened?" Before she could answer, the orphanage doors burst open again. The two guards stepped outside, holding their staffs. They looked annoyed to see Rowan crouching beside the girl. One guard shouted over the storm, "Human, leave the child alone. She is dangerous." Rowan's brows lowered. He stood up, placing himself in front of Lyra. "Dangerous? She's freezing in the rain. That's what she is." The other guard pointed his staff at Rowan. "You do not understand. The girl is cursed. Her presence brings trouble. She cannot stay here." Rowan glanced back at Lyra. She was hugging herself, shaking. "She's a child," he said firmly. "Children aren't curses." Madame Vora appeared behind the guards, her cloak blowing in the wind. She raised her chin and spoke in a sharp voice. "Human, this is not your business. The girl must leave. She was never meant to be here." Rowan stepped forward, blocking Lyra completely. "You threw her into a storm, alone, at night. That makes it very much my business." Lyra looked up at Rowan in shock. No one had ever spoken for her like this. No one had ever stood between her and danger. Madame Vora narrowed her eyes. "You will bring misfortune upon yourself if you take her. We have already warned others. Children like her cause destruction." "Then you should have protected her," Rowan said, "not abandoned her." Lightning cracked across the sky, lighting Rowan's face. His eyes held steady strength, not anger, but a calm determination that made the guards hesitate. The guards exchanged nervous glances. What if she explodes again? One whispered. Rowan turned back to Lyra and crouched down again. "What's your name?" he asked softly. Lyra wiped her nose with her sleeve. "Lyra. That's a beautiful name," he said gently. "And I'm Rowan. I won't let anyone hurt you. Do you want to come with me?" Lyra looked at the ground. No one had ever asked her what she wanted. Not once in her life. Her glowing marks flickered faintly as she whispered, "Yes." With a small, shaky nod, she reached out. Rowan wrapped his coat around her shoulders, lifting her carefully into his arms. She felt weightless like a bird too tired to fly. "Madam!" Vora shouted behind him. "You do not know what she is." Rowan did not look back. "No," he said, "but I know what you are." He walked away with Lyra held close against him. The storm howled around them, but Rowan kept walking, steady and sure. As they disappeared into the night, Lyra's head rested against his chest. For the first time, she felt the warmth of another being who did not fear her. She did not know where he would take her or what would happen next, but she felt something new, something she had never felt before. Hope. And far behind them, the orphanage doors slammed shut, sealing its dark secret inside. Captain Rowan Halla carried Lyra through the storm until his arms felt heavy, but he never slowed down. The girl weighed almost nothing, yet the responsibility he carried felt as large as a mountain. The rain beat against his back, but he shielded her with his coat, making sure not a drop touched her face. At last, through the thick wall of rain, a small silver ship came into view. Rowan's ship, the Starling, parked in a hidden landing bay. Its lights flickered gently like a beacon calling them home. Rowan spoke softly to the girl in his arms. "We're almost there, Lyra. Just a little more." Lyra's eyes were half closed. The glow in her markings dimmed until only faint traces remained. She was tired, cold, and confused, but something inside her whispered that she was safe now. The ship's ramp lowered with a soft hiss. Warm golden light spilled out, cutting through the icy rain. Rowan stepped inside, and the door shut behind them, silencing the storm like someone had turned off the world. Inside, the air was warm and smelled faintly of metal and tea. Small lamps lit the ship's walls. It was not a large ship, but it felt safe and alive. Rowan set Lyra gently on a padded bench. "Let me get you a blanket." As he walked to a storage cabinet, Lyra looked around slowly. She had never seen such a place. The orphanage was cold stone and harsh lights. This ship felt different, softer somehow. Calmer. Rowan returned with a thick blanket and wrapped it around her shoulders. "There? Better?" Lyra nodded weakly. Her voice was small. "Why? Why did you help me?" Rowan pulled up a chair and sat across from her. "No one should be left in the rain like that. No one should be treated like a problem. Especially not a child." Lyra lowered her eyes. Her fingers twisted the edge of the blanket. "But they were right. I do strange things. Things I don't understand." "What kind of things?" Rowan asked. She hesitated, swallowing hard. "When I get scared, lights break, or walls shake, or things fall. I don't try to do it. I don't even know how. It just happens." Rowan leaned closer, his voice gentle. "That doesn't make you dangerous. It makes you scared and alone. That's very different." But before Lyra could answer, a soft humming sound began in the ship. The overhead lights flickered. Rowan looked up, puzzled. "That's odd." Lyra's eyes widened. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that it happened." Small silver sparks danced around her fingers like tiny floating stars. They moved slowly at first, then faster, swirling gently around her hands. The lights in the ship flickered again. Rowan stared in amazement. "Lyra, are you doing that?" She shook her head fiercely. "No, I swear I'm not trying. Please, don't be mad." "I'm not mad," Rowan cut in quickly. He knelt beside her. "Just breathe. Look at me." She focused on his face. Her breath came in shaky bursts. The sparks reacted to her fear, brightening, spinning faster. "It happens when I feel too much," she whispered. "It's okay." "You're safe now," Rowan said softly. "We'll figure this out together." Little by little, her breathing slowed. The sparks faded, drifting into the air until they vanished completely. The lights in the ship steadied. Lyra stared at her empty hands, trembling. "See, that's why they threw me away." "No," Rowan said firmly. "They threw you away because they were afraid. Fear makes people cruel." He thought for a moment. Her power, whatever it was not normal. He had seen many things in his travels, but never a child whose emotions created energy like that. "Lyra," he said gently, "do you know anything about your parents?" She shook her head. "No, they said I was left at the door as a baby. No name, no note, just me." Rowan placed a hand over hers. "You don't have to face this alone anymore." She looked up slowly. "Will they come after me? The orphanage guards?" Rowan's expression hardened slightly. "Maybe, but if they do, they'll have to go through me." Lyra did not know why, but those words filled her chest with warmth, something she had never felt before. Then, without warning, the ship's sensors beeped. Rowan stood and tapped a screen. He frowned. A small red dot blinked on the scanner. Someone out there, searching. Someone had followed them. Rowan turned to Lyra. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we'll find out what your powers really mean." But Lyra could see it in his eyes. He knew the world was already changing, and she was the reason. The next morning, the Starling drifted quietly above the planet's surface, hidden inside a cloud-filled sky. Sunlight tried to break through the gray haze, but the clouds stayed thick, as if they too wanted to hide something important. Rowan stood at the ship's controls, checking the scanners. The red dot from last night had disappeared from the screen, but something told him it would return. People who hunted children for power never gave up easily. Behind him, Lyra sat on the floor with a small blanket wrapped around her shoulders. She was trying to open a packet of dried fruit Rowan had given her, but her fingers trembled. She kept glancing at her glowing marks, as if the lines on her skin were dangerous snakes waiting to strike. Rowan turned and gave her a gentle smile. "Don't be scared of the food, it won't explode." Lyra let out a tiny, nervous laugh. It was the first laugh Rowan had heard from her. "Rowan," she said softly, "what are we doing today?" "Well," he said, sitting down in front of her, "there's someone I want you to meet. Someone who might know why you have these powers." Her eyes widened in fear. "Another caretaker?" "No," Rowan said quickly. "Someone kind. Someone who studies strange energies and rare beings. He won't hurt you." She hugged the blanket tighter. "I trust you, but I don't trust anyone else." Rowan nodded. "That's enough for now." An hour later, the Starling landed on a quiet, rocky plain, not far from an old observatory dome built deep into the hill. The wind blew softly, carrying dust across the ground like a pale mist. Lyra stayed close to Rowan as they walked toward the steel door of the observatory. Her small hand gripped his coat tightly. Rowan knocked on the door. 3 sharp taps, metal scraped, locks clicked, and the door slowly slid open, revealing a tall alien with bright orange skin and long, thin fingers. His eyes glowed with knowledge and curiosity. "Rowan Hull," the alien said with a warm tone. "It has been a long time." "Good to see you too, Vesk," Rowan replied. "I need your help with something important." Vesk's gaze moved to Lyra. The moment he saw the glowing marks, his expression changed. His eyes widened with surprise, maybe even fear. A child with star lines? Lyra stepped back, frightened. Rowan placed a hand behind her to reassure her. "May we come in?" Rowan asked firmly. Vesk nodded quickly and led them inside. The observatory's interior was filled with floating screens, star maps, and strange glowing crystals. Lyra looked around in awe, her fear fading for a moment. She had never seen anything so beautiful. Vesk guided them to a round metal table. "Place your hand here, child," he said gently. Lyra hesitated, then slowly reached out. The moment her palm touched the surface, the table lit up with blue rings of energy. Her glowing marks reacted, shimmering softly. Vesk leaned in, studying the patterns. Incredible, truly incredible. Rowan crossed his arms. "All right, Vesk, what do you know?" Vesk took a deep breath. "This girl is not cursed. She is not broken. She is something extremely rare, something almost forgotten. Lyra swallowed hard. What am I? Vesk looked at her with a soft, respectful expression. You, little one, are a star seed. Lyra blinked. A star seed? Yes. Vesk said. A living being born with the energy of the stars inside them. Starseeds appear only once in many generations. Their bodies hold pure cosmic energy. They can shape matter, bend energy, and even sense the universe around them. Lyra shook her head. But I can't do anything like that. I only break things. That is because you are untrained, Vesk said. Your emotions control. Your power. When you are calm, your energy sleeps. When you are scared or sad, it wakes up. This is dangerous, but not because of you, but because others will want to use you. Rowan's jaw tightened. I knew it, Vesk nodded slowly. There are groups across the galaxy who search for starseeds. They believe starseeds are perfect weapons. If they find her, they won't. Show mercy. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. So, I really am dangerous. Rowan knelt beside her. No, you're precious. You're special. And being special is not the same as being harmful. Vesk looked at Rowan. You must protect her, Captain. If the wrong people discover where she is, they will come. Rowan placed a steady hand on Lyra's shoulder. They already followed us once. They'll try again. Lyra gripped Rowan's sleeve, her voice trembling. What do I do? You stay with me, Rowan said. And we learn how to control your gift. For the first time in her life, someone did not treat her power as a curse, and that tiny spark of hope inside her began to grow. Evening shadows stretched long across the rocky plain as Rowan and Lyra stepped out of Vesk's observatory. The wind had cooled, carrying a faint hum through the empty hills. The starling stood nearby, its silver surface glowing under the setting sun. Lyra walked close beside Rowan, still thinking about what Vesk had told her. A starseed. A rare child. Someone the whole galaxy might chase. She felt small, too small to carry such a truth. Rowan noticed the worry on her face. Hey, he said softly. Don't think too far ahead. We'll take this one step at a time. Lyra tried to smile, but her chest felt tight. As they reached the ship's ramp, Rowan tapped the security panel. The door opened with a gentle hiss. Before they went inside, Rowan looked once more across the horizon, scanning the quiet hills. Lyra tugged his sleeve. What are you looking for? Trouble, Rowan said honestly. It likes to find me. Lyra's marks flickered nervously. Inside the ship, Rowan closed the hatch, then went straight to the control deck. Lyra sat in the co-pilot chair, hugging her blanket. She watched him power up the engines. We'll leave this planet, Rowan said. Find a safer place while you learn to control your power. Lyra lowered her eyes. What if nowhere is safe for me? Rowan rested a hand on her shoulder. Then I'll make somewhere safe. Before Lyra could answer, a harsh alarm cut through the ship. Beep dash, beep dash, beep dash. Red lights flashed above them. Rowan spun toward the scanner screen. His eyes narrowed. No. Not now. Lyra leaned forward, heart racing. What is it? Rowan pointed to the screen. A ship coming fast, too fast. As he zoomed in, Lyra gasped. The incoming ship was dark, sharp, and shaped like a predatory bird. Its engines glowed blood-red. Rowan muttered under his breath. Collectors? The name felt heavy in the air. Vesk had warned them. Collectors hunted starseeds, capturing them and forcing them into weapons programs. They were feared across many systems. Lyra's fingers shook. They found me. Rowan pressed buttons. Quickly, we're taking off. Hold tight. The Starling's engines roared to life. The ship lifted from the ground, dust swirling beneath it. But before they could rise far, a blast of red energy shot across the sky. Boom! The ground shook as the blast hit a rock formation beside them. "They're firing already," Rowan growled. "Not giving us a chance." The enemy ship swooped lower, trying to block the Starling's escape path. Lyra felt panic rising. Her breaths shortened. Her glowing marks brightened. Rowan glanced at her. "Lyra, look at me." She tried, but fear swallowed her thoughts. "They want to take me," she whispered. "They want to use me." I can't." Another explosion rocked the ship. Rowan grabbed the controls. "Lyra, listen to me." He shouted over the alarms. "You are not alone. Not anymore. I'm here." Her breathing slowed just enough for her to look into his eyes. "We will get out," Rowan said. Together, the collectors fired again. Rowan jerked the ship hard to the right, dodging the blast by inches. The Starling shook violently. Lyra gripped her seat. Her heart pounded. Her glowing marks grew brighter, too bright. The energy inside her was rising like a storm. "I feel it," she cried. "It's happening again." Rowan's voice stayed firm. "Then use it. Don't fear it. Control it." "I can't." "Yes, you can." Outside, the collector's ship circled closer, preparing another shot. A deep hum built in the air around Lyra's hands. Blue sparks formed, brighter than ever. The lights of the Starling flickered wildly. "Rowan," she sobbed. "I don't know how." "You don't need to know," Rowan said. "Just trust yourself." The next blast came straight for them. Lyra screamed and her power exploded outward. A wave of bright blue energy burst from her body, passing through the walls of the ship like light through glass. It hit the collector ship with shocking force. FWOOOSH. The enemy ship spun out of control, alarms flashing across its hull. Its engine sputtered. It veered sharply upward, trying to recover, but the wave had damaged something deep inside. Rowan watched in stunned silence as the enemy stumbled back into the clouds. Lyra collapsed forward, exhausted, her marks fading. "Again. I didn't mean to hurt them." "You didn't hurt them," Rowan said, catching her gently. "You saved us." She looked up with wide, tired eyes. "Did I really?" He nodded. "You did more than that. You showed them they can't take you so easily." The scanner beeped again. Rowan checked it. The collector ship had turned away, retreating into the sky. "They'll be back," Rowan said. "But so will we." Lyra rested her head on his arm. "Rowan, thank you for not giving up on me." He smiled softly. "I never will." As the Starling rose into the night sky, one thing became clear to both of them. Lyra was no longer a helpless child. She was someone worth fighting for, and someone powerful enough to fight back. The Starling drifted through open space, leaving behind the planet where everything had changed. Stars shimmered like tiny lanterns outside the windows, stretching across the dark sky in long silver rivers. But inside the ship, the air felt calm, soft, almost peaceful, after the terrifying attack they had escaped. Lyra sat wrapped in a warm blanket on the main bench, her knees pulled close to her chest. Her glowing marks were dim again, only faint, sparks pulsing now and then with her heartbeat. She felt tired, but she also felt something new. Relief, safety, the kind she had never known before. Rowan brought her a cup of steam-soft tea and set it gently in her hands. "It'll help you warm up," he said. Lyra blew on the tea weakly. "I didn't mean to make such a big wave," she whispered. "I don't know how I did it." Rowan sat beside her, leaning back with a tired sigh. "You saved us, Lyra. That's what matters. Your power isn't just chaos. It can protect, too." Lyra stared down at her hands. "I still don't understand why I have it." "You don't have to understand everything today," Rowan told her. "You just have to keep moving forward. And you won't have to do it alone." Those words wrapped around her like a second blanket. After a long moment, Lyra asked, "Where are we going now?" Rowan looked at the star map. "To a quiet human colony. A place full of families. A place where no one will try to take you. Lyra's heart squeezed. A family place? Yes, Rowan said softly. She tightened her grip on the blanket. I've never had a family. They always said I wasn't worth keeping. Rowan looked at her with gentle firmness. They were wrong. The ship hummed steadily during their journey. Lyra watched the stars and wondered what a family felt like. Did it feel warm? Did it feel like someone choosing you, not because of duty, but because they wanted you? Hours later, the Starling approached a glowing blue-green world. Wide forests, bright lakes, and golden fields covered it. It looked peaceful, so peaceful, it almost didn't feel real. Lyra pressed her face to the window. It's beautiful, Rowan smiled. It's one of the safest places I know. Humans and aliens live there together. As they landed on a soft grassy pad beside a small town, Lyra's heart began to race. People walked outside, chatting, laughing, working. Some looked up when they saw Rowan step out of the ship. Captain Hawley. Someone called. Back again, huh? Rowan waved. Just visiting. Lyra followed him slowly, staying close. She felt dozens of eyes on her, not hateful, not fearful like at the orphanage, just curious. Some children pointed at her glowing. Marks in wonder, not disgust. Rowan guided her toward a tall building with warm yellow windows. This is the Adoption Council. They help children find homes. Lyra stopped walking. Why are we here? Rowan knelt down so they were eye level. Lyra, you deserve a home. A real one, not a cold room. Not fear, not loneliness. Her throat tightened. Do you want to leave me here? Rowan blinked, stunned. Leave you? No, never. I brought you here because... He took a shaky breath. Because if you want, I would like to be your family. Lyra stared at him. Her silver eyes widened. Her glowing marks brightened softly with emotion. You want me? Of course I do, Rowan said. Not because of your power. Not because of danger. Because you're Lyra, and that's enough. The words hit her like sunlight after a long winter. I want you too, she whispered. They entered the adoption building together. Rowan told the council everything, her story, her powers, the attack, the danger. He hid nothing. He spoke for Lyra, as if she were the most important life in the galaxy. The council members listened carefully. Humans and aliens sat side by side, nodding as Rowan talked. Some looked shocked by her past. Some looked angry at the cruelty she had faced. One member leaned forward. Lyra, the woman asked kindly, do you want Rowan to be your guardian? Lyra stepped closer to Rowan, taking his hand. Yes, she said softly. I choose him. Rowan squeezed her hand gently. After a quiet moment, the lead counselor smiled. Then it is approved. Welcome home, Lyra Hale. Lyra froze. She had a last name, a family name. Rowan's name. Tears gathered in her eyes. She turned to him. I'm really your family now? Rowan placed a warm hand on her shoulder. You always were. Now it's official. For the first time in her life, Lyra felt something deep and safe settle inside her chest. A place where she belonged. A person who chose her. A home. And far above them, hidden in the cold dark of space, something watched waiting. Because peace never lasted long for a starseed, but Lyra was no longer alone. The human colony felt warm and alive compared to everything Lyra had ever known. Soft lights glowed along the walkways, families laughed near gardens, and gentle music floated through the air at night. For the first time, Lyra slept without fear. Wrapped in a real blanket, in a real room, inside Rowan's small but cozy home. Every morning she woke to the comforting smell of tea and warm bread. And each day, her glowing marks flickered less with fear and more with calm. Rowan helped her practice her powers in the quiet fields outside the colony. Slow breaths, he always reminded her. Your energy listens to your heart first. Lyra would stand with her hands open, focusing on a single spark of blue light. At first, her power burst too fast, making tiny stones jump into the air. But over the days, she learned to make the sparks dance gently, floating like fireflies around. Her fingers, "You're doing amazing," Rowan would say. And Lyra really smiled. But peace never lasted forever. One evening, just as the sun dipped behind the forest, the colony alarm blared through the streets. Woo oh 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 dash. People rushed from their homes. Rowan grabbed his coat and pulled Lyra close. "What's happening?" Lyra asked, her heart pounding. Rowan checked a nearby screen where red warnings flashed. Something crashed near the orphanage city. "A disaster. They're asking for help." Lyra froze. "The orphanage where they hated me," Rowan nodded gently. "It seems the city suffered a major accident. Buildings collapsed. Power grids failed. They don't know why yet." Lyra swallowed hard. "They won't want me there." Rowan placed a hand on her shoulder. "This isn't about what they want. It's about what you choose." Those words echoed through her. Choice. Something she had never been given before. She took a slow breath. "If people are hurt, I want to help." Rowan smiled with quiet pride. "All right, let's go." The starling flew fast across the sky until the ruined city came into view. Smoke curled from shattered towers. Roads were broken. Sparks from torn wires lit the dark air in flashes of red and white. When Rowan landed the ship, emergency workers ran everywhere, trying to free trapped families. Lyra stepped out beside Rowan, her glowing marks brightening as she took in the destruction. Fear tried to grip her heart again, but Rowan's steady presence kept her grounded. A familiar voice cut through the chaos. "You!" Madame Vora, the orphanage caretaker, stood nearby, her clothing torn and dusty. Her face twisted when she saw Lyra. "You brought her back?" Vora snapped at Rowan. "She make things worse." Rowan stepped forward, shielding Lyra again. "She's here to help." Vora laughed harshly. "Help? She's the cause of misfortune." But before Rowan could answer, a loud crash shook the ground. A wall collapsed near a group of workers. A young alien boy was trapped under heavy debris. People shouted for help. Lyra didn't wait. She ran toward the rubble. "No, Lyra!" Rowan called, but she kept going. She reached the fallen wall and dropped to her knees beside the small boy. His leg was pinned. His eyes were full of terror. "Don't move," Lyra whispered. "I'm going to help you." Her glowing marks brightened to a steady blue. She remembered Rowan's lessons: slow breaths, calm heart. She pressed her hands to the heavy slab. A low hum filled the air. Blue energy spread under her palms like living light, lifting the rubble slowly, carefully, without breaking or shaking. Workers stared in disbelief as she raised the stone high enough for Rowan and two others to pull the boy free. When the boy was safe, Lyra gently lowered the rubble to the ground without a single crack. Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Vora's eyes widened, her anger fading into shock. Lyra looked up at Rowan, chest rising and falling, but her smile was bright. "I did it. I controlled it." Rowan knelt beside her, pride shining in his eyes. "You did more than control it. You saved a life." The boy hugged Lyra's arm weakly. Thank you." For a moment, the world felt still quiet, and everyone could see the truth. She was not a curse. She was a gift. In the days that followed, Lyra helped stabilize damaged buildings with her controlled energy. She lifted fallen beams, sealed broken power cores, and guided lost children to safety. People who once whispered about her now whispered with awe. Eventually, even Madame Vora stepped forward, eyes lowered in shame. "I was wrong about you," she said. "You are nothing like the stories." Lyra looked at her calmly. "I'm not angry," she said. "I just want to help." Rowan placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, his daughter, his family, and across the galaxy. Tales began to spread of a small starseed girl who saved a city, not by accident or chaos, but by choice and kindness. People said, when fear pushed her away, a human pulled her close, and that saved not only her, but all of us. HFY.